Hey guys, how are you going? We are sitting here in the aftermath of the transfer window closing. That is right, English teams are no longer allowed to buy any more players for this summer as the transfer window has slammed shut, keeping all this disgusting hot air inside, but also bringing with it a new bunch of transfers. And Ed McCambridge joining me on the sofa this afternoon. How you doing?
Very happy to be here. I love a transfer deadline day. It's always good fun.
I bet you're delighted. I bet as a Fulham fan, you're over the moon.
Well, I do find the whole experience this year quite confusing with the window shutting early and the fact that some others can still do signings. It's been a weird day.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed myself.
I think it's brought a new dimension to it. As we say, with it shutting before the season starts, everyone's kind of had to rush to their business, unless you're Tottenham, that is, who have signed absolutely nobody. Or, however, there have been some teams who have done some fantastic bits of business. Everton have brought in 3 signings today, with Mina, Gomez and Bernardo joining the club. Chelsea have brought in Kepa alongside Kovacic, which has seen Courtois join Real Madrid.
Massive.
There's other bits trickling through right now as we speak, including Carlos Sanchez to West Ham, and Fulham signing Fosu Mensah on loan. And
maybe the signing of the summer. Forget Courtois. Forget these big moves. Fosu Mensah. Welcome to the cottage.
He is the boy. But let's speak about that first. Let's move on to it first. What does it mean for the English league that the fact that we've shut early and now effectively everyone's team is open to be poached almost by the rest of Europe, whose transfer windows don't shut until the next few weekends?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, it is really weird, the fact that it's shut this year, but I think your opinion on it depends massively on which team you support.
That's true.
The fact that some clubs, Liverpool fans for example, me being a Fulham fan, I'm quite happy with the window for 2 reasons. One, we've done some good business, and on the other hand, some of our rivals haven't strengthened in time. And I'm talking about relegation candidates, haven't been able to get some players through the door. They haven't had the 3 weeks that they'd normally have from now until the window would normally shut. So for me, it's good because we've got our business done, and Liverpool fans got their business done nice and early. But if you're a Spurs fan, I can't think of any right now off the top of my head, but if you're a Spurs fan, you're not going to be too happy with the early shutting. You can do with the 3 weeks.
Is it even more? Was the whole kind of aim to retain players as gradually the window got closer to its end because of the threat? I mean, it's kind of like the European teams didn't feel a need to rush and they're sort of circling like sharks, just waiting for the window to go. And now they know they can move in. Barcelona can move in for the likes of Pogba. Real Madrid can move in for the likes of Willian and Hazard, due to the fact that Chelsea and United can't sign replacements. I mean, they can be completely poached. It could work either way, but they've got more time, and it would look stupid.
Although I genuinely think that these English clubs are going to really dig their heels in right now, and and the likes of Pogba will have been told by Mourinho, just the way the market is this summer. Yeah. As far as you're concerned, Barcelona's window's shut as well. Yeah. Because we cannot sign a replacement, especially for a player like Pogba. Yeah. If you lose him now with no opportunity whatsoever to sign somebody else, you're in deep trouble.
But is that his problem? If Mourinho says this to Pogba, but Pogba's got, Mina Raiola, his agent, in the other ear saying, forget about that, I've got you an extra 200k a week at Barcelona. These other teams have the power to turn heads almost. To kind of whisper in Pogba's ear, hey, come join us.
Yeah, I mean,
the transfer window's not shut for us.
He can want to go, and Barcelona are going to want to put a bid in, or they're going to want to put a bid in for these big players.
I'd be surprised if they didn't.
But I'd be stunned if Mourinho, of all people, says, okay, I mean, unless there's a release clause in some of these contracts, these players aren't going anywhere.
I'm not saying Mourinho would let him go, but I'm saying, it
is a danger.
It's a danger.
It is a danger,
massive danger.
I mean, Real Madrid have got plenty of money in the bank right now. They've obviously sold Mr. Ronaldo, got a load of money from there. What's stopping them from putting a bid in for Hazard? I mean, yes, Chelsea can say no all they want, but if Hazard's got his heart set on that move, he says, I'm not kicking a ball one more time at Stamford Bridge. That's it, you sell me now. I mean, Chelsea's bargaining chip is gone, so I think it's weird that the Premier League, it's really weird. It's such a cutthroat league like the Premier League to be the first to say, look, I tell you what, we'll take a hit and find out how this works out. It just seems odd.
Yeah, it does seem strange. I mean, look, there's going to be winners and losers abroad, definitely for sure. But I think it's quite of an odd thing to do, considering as well that it feels like, as you said, we are sort of the hamsters, and it allows us to be picked off. You're making yourself an easy target. I mean, look, we're gonna come to the winners and losers in the English transfer window later on in the show. We're also going to come to the best players So who we think has made some good dealings. But what I want to do right now is touch on someone you just mentioned there. A little known transfer during the summer of Cristiano Ronaldo to Juventus.
Massive. Massive.
I want to talk about more so the effect that it has on the transfer window. Because as you said with Real Madrid before, they can come in and sign Hazard. Right, they're in no rush to do so. But what has it done for Italian football and for the European transfer market as a whole? Because those are the kind of figures that are very, very rarely seen. In England, we're used to them. But those figures are hardly seen.
I mean, it affects football in so many ways. It's the biggest transfer Serie A has ever seen. I mean, it's a cool league. It's got plenty of fans, but it has seemed for a long time now like it's really lagging behind the two big powerhouses, La Liga and the Premier League. Yes, they've got some fantastic players, but you see the likes when Pogba joined Man United, it seemed like these clubs were willing to lose some of their best players. They were no longer these wealthy clubs. I mean, look back in the 90s when Italian football was like in its absolute heyday, in the early noughties with those AC Milan teams by Ancelotti. Back then, they were like the clubs you wanted to join. You'd want to join AC Milan, you'd want to join Juventus, and it hasn't been like that for a while now. And I think this really could be a turning point for Italian football.
So you're saying it's kind of the effect that it's attracting players not only to join him, you know, Pogba was rumoured with a move back to Juventus, and surely the massive factor would be to play alongside Ronaldo. But even for the rest of the league, the likes of Luka Modric, who could yet, as European transfer window hasn't shut, join into Milan.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, and these could be huge, huge deals for Italy as a whole, and almost makes them a bigger player in the transfer market. In the last few years, we've seen the likes of Coutinho and Dembele and others all flock to Real Madrid or Barcelona. If you were going to go abroad, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, those
or
are the
PSG.
two clubs. Yeah, for the money for PSG, for the glory at
for
Real
the other
Madrid.
two. You pretty much, if you're going to go abroad, you had 3, maybe 4, we're going to throw Bayern in there, 4 teams to go to. But now this really opens it up completely. Even Higuain had the chance to move to Chelsea, move to AC Milan instead. That could be a massive step down. They're not even in European competition.
It's a huge plus.
But he's staying in the league. As Ronaldo joins Juventus, someone who leaves Juventus, Gigi Buffon.
Big Gigi, legend.
The groundbreaking goalkeeper, right? The record-breaking goalkeeper. So he held the record of the transfer fee for a keeper back in 2001. It took 17 years for that to be broken by Alisson.
I can't believe Juventus paid 53 million euros, whatever it was, in 2001.
I know. But this is what I mean. That's the kind of
money
deal that
wasn't
would
the
happen.
same back then. It was like it didn't work like that. A bread was a penny. I think it was the olden days.
Well, we're not that old.
We are that old. It's mad.
However, it's taken 17 years for the transfer record to be broken by Alisson, and then just 20 days for Kevin to break it later.
He held the record for 0 times.
Now, does it feel like goalkeepers have almost come up and joined the rest of the transfer market? Because before, goalkeepers, as I said, between those 17 years, weren't going for near as much as other players were.
No, absolutely. I mean, lest we forget that whole Buffon transfer when he went to Juventus. Fulham, my beloved Fulham, got Van der Sar as part of that deal for peanuts. Because aside from Buffon, goalkeepers are nearly always peanuts. I mean, in comparison to strikers and things like that. But I do agree that I think this sort of mentality towards goalkeepers is changing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it slowly, you know, quite a few goalkeepers. De Gea went for a little bit of money and Courtois went for a little bit of money. Ederson got a little bit of money. Pickford, a young goalkeeper. True. And I think I read at the end of last season that David De Gea was worth 22 points alone.
Wow.
To Manchester United, which and you could say, well, you know, you're just adding saves up, but that was compared to the average in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So if you brought his saves down to the average, they'd have lost 22 points.
Is it also because of goalkeepers becoming more of an attacking threat as well? I mean, I see it as that now you're not just buying a goalkeeper for the bread and butter of making saves, right? Catching the ball, getting the hand in the way,
or nuts in the way,
whatever. You're also looking at starting counter-attacks, even start being playmakers and starting the moves. Ederson last year was fantastic with his distribution.
The Manuel Neuer effect, right?
Exactly.
He just reinvented it, and yeah, that is true. I mean, you still have these incredible shot stoppers who don't get involved so much, a la David De Gea, but Hugo Lloris is good with his feet, and Ederson's really good with his feet, and Alisson Becker, good with his feet.
This summer, the transfer spending's topped $1 billion, again, for the second summer in a row. It hasn't quite broken the record. I think it's about 1.4.
It will still.
Probably.
Come on, clubs.
But it's topped $1 billion, and it's almost kind of, look, I look at Fulham, for example, who in Europe, I'm not sure you'll be too happy, in Europe are the highest spending newly promoted team.
Yeah, that's
Right.
And we were up against Wolves, and we
Right.
still managed to do that, which is slightly concerning.
Equally have spent they've spent a lot. They haven't spent huge. They've spent a lot for a newly promoted team. But you know, Jean Moutinho was about 6. Patricio was 3. A few other loans.
There's a
Traore
few-
was 18.
There's some shadiness going on behind the scenes. That's at
George
Wolves.
Mendes.
Yeah, it is.
But how is it, or why is it almost, that this money can attract such big players? I mean, surely there's more than just getting the good deal, especially when you're young. The case in point is Max Meyer.
Yeah, Max Meyer is
massively.
one of the strangest transfers of the summer.
Don't get me wrong, his agent was a bit of a dick, like sort of holding Schalke to ransom.
Dick.
Yeah,
A massive
a bit's
dick.
understated.
Yeah.
He, on the face of it, Max Meyer, no, he's moved to Palace and they're reportedly 180k a week, which is obviously a big draw for him. He's moved from Champions League football.
Yeah. At
To
his boyhood club.
At his boyhood club to a potential relegation candidate.
Yeah.
Like, is that the level we're talking about? Where these players, especially with Wolves, we just mentioned, Jean Moutinho, part of the World Cup squad for Portugal, and a massive player in the Champions League for Monaco. Right, you've then got Ruben Neves, who was Champions League at Porto, who moved to them last year in the Championship.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, you've then, who else they brought in? Again, Rui Patricio, Sporting in the Champions League. These guys, and don't get me wrong, if you're a young player, or a slightly elder player, and you think, you know what, I'm going to have one last crack at the Premier League, or I'm going to join a project and improve as a player.
Put myself in the shop
But
window.
some of these guys are moving in the prime of their career, or what should be the prime, to really, and I don't want to disrespect them, but Wolves and Fulham are far from the Champions League.
Substandard category for what they're worth. I totally agree. I mean, like you said, some of them can be seen as projects. So I think if someone like Ruben Neves, okay, he was one of the earlier ones to go, but I think probably, especially with Jorge Mendes and his influence over the club, you could think there's a project there.
Yeah.
And they're gonna grow together, and they're willing to spend a lot of money, bring in young players. You could think, but I mean, Max Meyer, if he thinks there's some sort of clever project going on at Crystal Palace, I want to know what that is. Because it doesn't exist.
Roy Hodgson must have had some magical words. And I want to know your winners and losers of the transfer window for teams.
Well, the winners are probably Cardiff, isn't it? I mean, Cardiff, no, obviously not Cardiff.
Harry Arter on loan.
Harry Arter, yes! No, I mean, there's been plenty of losers. Winners, I know I'm biased, but I'm just going to kick us off by saying I think Fulham, I'm so proud of us. Yes, we've spent a fortune, and we've spent more than any other club that's come up. But we're being positive, and coming up is so tough in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And unless you make waves and try and make some big signings, you're going to go back down. And we've signed. I can't believe Jean-Michel Seri has joined us from Greece.
Yeah, that's mind blowing.
Nearly joined Barcelona last summer. He was on the verge of signing for Barcelona, didn't. Linked with Chelsea, and then I opened the paper and he signed for Fulham. I don't know if he got lost in West London. But
Do you reckon
we
he was
owe a cab
actually on his way
driver
to
a beer.
QPR out of all of these?
Exactly. I don't know how it happened, but I'm so pleased he's joined.
However, despite all this Fulham fantasising they've got going on the sofa here, I will actually say, even with their not embarrassment, they may be a bit harsh on Richarlison, but Everton for winners of the transfer window, I think the 3 they've brought in today, especially in key areas as well. But I mean, Bernard was part of the 2014 World Cup squad that did get demolished by Germany. However, he was in the position. He started in the World Cup semi-final.
Yeah.
He's been a brilliant player for Shakhtar throughout the Champions League. Andre Gomez as well. Lucas Digne as well in the last few days.
I think Digne's a
fantastic,
especially with Bainsy nearing the end of his career. I think that's a belter.
Yeah.
Digne. And I also feel across the Mersey, the other Liverpool team, Liverpool themselves. Got their, I mean, they're not in the papers today. They're not making the news on social media.
They got it done early.
They got it done early, and they've been quiet about it. Exactly. I mean, obviously, you would expect Salah, Firmino, Mane to reinforce that quality understanding up front. But they brought in Fabinho, for example, Champions League quality workhorse at the base of midfield, brilliant on the ball.
We'll go for Fulham, Everton, and Liverpool as the winners of the transfer window. But the losers,
I think we know.
I'm just going to kick us off with Spurs.
I think yes, get it out of the way.
They didn't sign anybody.
I can't believe they didn't sign anybody.
Not even like a youngster. They couldn't even sign me for nothing. I would have just come and play for free.
They didn't sign anybody.
I mean, it's. Look, I'm not going to pretend, I'm not going to act like, it's a computer game, you could just sign someone. It's obviously more behind the scenes, but the fact that it's not like something's crept up on them. They haven't had the last minute injury and failed to replace him. You've had the whole summer. Alongside Spurs, for a bad summer transfer window is Manchester United.
Definitely.
And I know they've signed Fred, and I know that Dalot looks like a good youngster. I just think in keeping up with the rest of them, and certainly with if Mourinho, like Pochettino today, had come out and said, you know what, it's disappointing, but I'm happy. If Mourinho had said, I can work with this squad, it's fine. But he's been complaining non-stop.
I think that is the key issue here. Not only have they not signed enough, they've just pissed their manager off. I mean, he's one of the easiest people to get under his skin.
But I think he's pissed the squad off. Can you imagine when Mourinho comes in and you're sitting there thinking, this manager doesn't think that us lot are good enough.
And he's not going to give the youngsters a chance.
No.
He's basically said in pre-season, "Oh, I'm not happy because I'm happy to play the youngsters." He's called the whole Martial saga's been ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's gone home to attend his wife's pregnant. She's giving birth.
Yeah.
He's called him out. He's called Valencia fat or whatever he said when he got back. I mean, he's a madman.
But just the
he's
sour
just firing
taste.
shots, mate.
Yeah. What we're going to do is, just before we go quickly, let's throw in a few names, a few ones to look out for. Could be a youngster, could be a big name, but I want three top players who you're going to look out for.
Well, Ryan Sessegnon,
Yeah.
Fulham's left winger, an unknown quantity in the Premier League, but took the Championship by storm last time around. I think he's going to be really good. Just 18 years old, one of our standout players. Yeah. I think he's going to absolutely smash it. I think Naby Keita's going to really be fantastic at Liverpool. I can't wait to see him in action. And a third, who did Arsenal sign then? I reckon they've got a big one in them.
Torreira.
But he's going to be good. They need a bit of steel at the base of midfield. I think he could be really good.
I think as well, Seri. I know we've already touched on him.
Seri could be excellent.
But I will actually jump in.
Go on.
I think one of the ones to definitely look out for is James Maddison up at Leicester. At Norwich last season was
one of the
they had a pretty
standout
poor
youngsters.
season, and he had an incredible season. But I think his goals and assists were worth 26 points.
Wow, that's
last
really
season,
good.
which is really ridiculous.
Yeah,
and I think 26 million again, inflated English transfer. But I think he could be really, really good for Leicester. Someone definitely to look out for. Well, after all the talking is done, after all the transfer signings have been made, it's showtime. The kickoff is back.
Yes!
Premier League season is back. I tell you what, I've been so excited for this.
I can't wait
Ever since the World Cup finished, which was only a few weeks ago, delighted for the Premier League season to be back. So, there we have it. The transfer window is shut. Let us know what you thought of the transfer window. How did your club do? Do you agree with some of the signings that we put in? Who would you have signed? Who would you not have signed? Everything else in the comment section below. And until next time, from me and Ed, we'll see you guys later.
See you later, guys.